Hey everybody, coming with Cory video. Hopefully the dishwasher will be done soon. I didn't realize how loud that thing really is. Since I'm cheap, I bought like the lowest end dishwasher that there is, and apparently if you pay more, they're quieter. This one, not so quiet. But anyway, so we're not rating the sound of it. The oven has already been preheated, right there, preheated to 375. I have all of my conglomerate of ingredients over here, and we're ready to make some oatmeal cookies. So the good thing is like my last video about the soup that you get out of the fridge and just make whatever's leftovers in there. So this is just stuff that I had laying around the house. I had a pack of raisins that wasn't really doing much with. I always got some baking supplies on hand because you never know when you just got a wild hair and you feel like baking something. And I had a big old brand new thing of oats, and so I've been eating a lot of oatmeal, and I was like, it's easier to eat oatmeal in a cookie form or in a muffin form, so I figured I would do that. Anyway, it's really terribly hot today, so baking's probably not the best idea on a day when it's like the highest day with the highest heat index for a while. But anyway, wow, this dishwasher takes a really, really long time. So anyway, maybe we'll mix stuff over here, that way we're out of the sound range of the dishwasher making its crazy noises over there. Oh, I got my Hoorah Marine retired hat. Wow, that sun coming in from that baker window sucks, doesn't it? Anyway, Rachel's girly magazines. Not the good girly magazines. Those are girly magazines like girls read. I'm almost out of cinnamon sugar. Alright, so let's get our surface clear. I gave the dog a bath. Since it was so hot, I figured he'd like that. And he tolerated it, but he really doesn't like baths. But he at least said, yeah, whatever, it's 100 degrees out and it's humid and I have fur. So let's go on with your bad self and hook me up with some of that cold water. Alright. Table is cleared. As good as I can get it, at least. Good enough for me. We're just mixing stuff, so it doesn't really matter. Seriously, man, you've been running for a half hour, dude. Are you serious? Are you not done yet? Still washing. Man, I must have like bumped that thing and hit like double wash or something. That's ridiculous. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm assuming that you can, but whatever. So when you want to soften butter, it says to soften your butter. I just leave it out on a plate overnight, so it's already softened. Some people like to stick it in the microwave. You can do that, but sometimes you overcook it or you melt it. So I would just say if you're not in a real hurry and you're going to bake in a reasonably short time, just leave the butter out and let it get to room temperature. It's easier to mix it with the other stuff. And speaking of mixing, I need to cream the butter, and I think I may have already packed my... Let's see. Yeah, right. Alright, so I did. Alright, well, I have already... let's do that so that the sunlight's not blaring right in your face. Alright. This way I can block it with my body. So anyway, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the workarounds when you don't have the power tools that you need in the kitchen, such as your blender or your bread tossers and all that weird stuff. Electric mixer, that's what I was thinking. Okay. So we need a bowl. We need a ginormous bowl. We got a bowl. I like to use a clear bowl because if you have a clear bowl, you can see if you got all the crap around the outside. So like sometimes what happens is you'll get that like weird ring, or like the bottom will be caked with stuff because you didn't mix it right. So I use a clear bowl. Steel bowls work good too. It depends on what you're working with. If you're doing, is the thing finally done? Yes. All right. So if you're doing like whipping cream, you want to use a steel bowl or a glass bowl. But if you use a steel bowl, put it in the fridge or the freezer first, get it really cold, and then when you whip the whipped cream, it'll be in. That has nothing to do with cookies. I'm just rambling because I was waiting for the stupid dishwasher to get done, and it is. Sweet. All right. So the first thing we need is our butter and our sugar and our brown sugar. So, sugar, brown sugar. Where's my cup thing? Where you at, cup? Where you at, cup? Where you at? There we go. Alright. Alright, so it calls for 1 cup of each. 1 cup of brown sugar, hard packed. I like to keep my brown sugar in a Tupperware thing because it keeps it. See how this is really old brown sugar, and it keeps it moisture longer, so it doesn't get dry. If you've ever bought the stuff in a box and you leave it in your cabinet and you don't use it within a few days, weeks, whatever, it ends up turning into this hard, ginormous brick. Oh, hi, buddy. What do you want? You're being weird. Alrighty, so hard packed. So that's a half a cup. Put that baby right in there. Now, baking is the science of cooking. So when you bake, remember I talked about the art and the science. When you bake, you want to be as close to exact with the measurements as you can. Now, cookies are not like a cake where you can be a little off and it's not a big deal. So it's not the end of the world if you're a little bit off on your measures. But you want to get pretty tight and keep it pretty close. Oh, and another way to keep this fresh is throw some saltine crackers in there, just around, like off to the side, or like an old piece of bread and leave it in there. And what'll happen is the bread's moisture will get sucked out of it and it'll go into your brown sugar to keep it moist. Kind of like, it's like an evil vampire. It just sucks the living stuff out of other things that you put in there. But that's just a note for you in case you ever cared or wondered. Alright, so here's our 1 cup of brown sugar. And now we need a cup of sugar. Alright, the reason I'm doing the 2 measuring things is because my cup does not fit into said container here. So I know this is a half a cup. If I use 2 half a cups, I should get a cup, right? Right? That's how the math's supposed to work. So math is good. Alright, so we got our stuff in there. Put sugar back. Excuse me. So not only is it like crappy weather out right now, or like extremely hot, the heat index is like 200 million and the pollen index is through the roof too. So I'm getting allergies even though I'm not even outside. Oh, where's my blender at? Alright. So what we'll do is, first I'm gonna mix the sugars together. Now, if I had my power tool for the kitchen, i.e. my mixer or my electric mixer, I would not have to do this because I would cream the butter first, and then after the butter was creamed, then I would just mix the sugars in on top of that and it would all be happy and good. Now, if you're on diet and you're like, dude, I'm trying to chill and I don't want to lose weight, probably not the thing you want. Oatmeal cookies, like, why you're like, oh, it's the best cookie ever. And, you know, it's got fiber, it's got some protein, and we're gonna put some raisins in it so you get some good bowel movements out of it. But for the most part, cookies are just freaking sugar and flour. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to justify like, oh, Cooking with Cory likes to make cookies and he said they're good for me. No. Most of the things Cooking with Cory makes is maybe not good for you. Especially if you have the diabetes of the sugars, or if you got the any kind of cholesterol problem. I went for my physical, and as much as you've seen the crap that I eat, when I went in for my physical, he said my cholesterol is lower even than somebody my age that takes medicine to lower their cholesterol. So he said it was beautiful. Beautiful. I'm good with that. I like to have beautiful cholesterol. Alright, so now you can see like most of the lumps have been reduced out of this, but see I got a clear bowl so I can see I haven't quite got all that white stuff out of the bottom. So we're going to do the Great American Mixing Pot here, and we're just going to mix all these brown and white sugars together to make one sweet yummy batch. If you've never seen the movie Bullware, you'd know what I'm talking about. But This is sort of a family show sometimes, so I don't want your kids learning something from me that they shouldn't. Although I'm sure they probably do anyway. Oh yeah, that's nice and slimy. All right, so an average stick of butter, and I'm using salted butter. The average stick of butter is a half a cup or 4 ounces. 4 ounces tells you right on there. It's not rocket science. Anyway, and math, if you can remember even a slightly little bit amount of math, 4 ounces is a cup. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, so we're gonna peel this all nice and gently, like a fat kid trying to get that candy bar out of the car that's been in the heat, but he doesn't want the sugar to stick to the wrapper. That's what we're doing right now. All right. Doesn't want the chocolate to stick to the wrapper. I just screwed my own joke up. Whatever. Not that I'm making fun of fat people, because I like fat people. Anyway. Butter. Take our 2 sticks of Buddha. Shake them down, shake them down. Try not to stick anything to the wrapper. If too much sticks, you can just scrape it off with your scraper. Now this would be the point where normally, like I said, if you had to cream this butter yourself, you would have creamed it with your electric mixer already. Now I know that if you don't mix the sugar first and then you try to mix this stuff, it ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be a bad day. So, oh man, why does that always happen? If you have something with a sticky, wet, gooey side on it, it is 100% guaranteed if you drop that, it's going to land on the stickiest, gooeyest, crappiest side that exists. Never happens to land on the safe side where you can just pick it up and go about your business. Alright, well, sorry. I don't like to leave mess laying around the ground. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start mooshing this butter in here. We're going to work it in a little bit. Now this is a pastry blender. And the good thing about a pastry blender is it's made to blend pastries. And a cookie, while not a pastry, you're mixing fat into solid. So we're going to just kind of go about our business here, mixing that right on in there and getting it nice and squishy and gushy all over the place. And now, because it is such a nice day and it's Father's Day weekend, I'm going to guess that most of my normal fans, because they are dads or they have dads or whatever, or they're going to be busy and not watching my videos. I get it. It's cute. It's cute. I don't take no offense at all. Because just because I'm live streaming, if you subscribe to my channel, you can watch my videos anytime you want. Somebody was asking me the other day, like, how many videos I actually had. I don't know. I haven't gone in to edit for a while because I'm lazy, so I have other crap to do. Maybe I'll do that today since I didn't go up to see Rachel this weekend. But anyway, I think I have 70 now, something like that. 80, I don't know. I'm sure YouTube will send me a thing when I get to 100 or whatever. Alright. Dude, that thing just started on its own. It wasn't even doing that. It just made a noise. You hear that? It's creepy. I didn't touch nothing. Alright, so like I said, the good thing about a pastry blender is it's made with these groovy little tines between it, so you can mash all that fat all down in there. Now, when's the other times you've seen me use a pastry blender? When I make pastry, right? When I'm doing pie, because this is the exact same tool I use when I'm doing pie. It is also the same tool that I use if I'm making a huge thing of egg noodles. If you're just making one batch of egg noodles, it's just like a cup of flour and a little bit of salt. So I just use the fork and just whack it together that way. But if you got the tool to use it, do it that way. So now normally what you would do is with your electric tool is you would just sit here and you would beat the snot out of this stuff. You would just freaking go to town on it like a 15-year-old in the shower. You will tear this stuff up. Alright, so what you're going to do is, since we already did a pretty good job of melting the butter and getting it mixed in with the other ingredients, we're going to call that good for now. Now, let's go get the eggs. Alright, calls for 2 eggs, not separated. And now we'll do that over here because I don't want to mess with the table. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Alright, we'll put the rest of the eggs away. Up there. God dang it. Oh, I hate having allergies. Alright, here we go. Get us a fork. Alright. So really the only liquid in this is the melted butter and the eggs. So, and the little teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I threw a little extra in there. And also you put a little love in there. You throw a little dash of almond extract, and almond extract is very strong. And put a little bit of that in there. Now, what's weird is I heard on the radio the other day that the beaver anus extract is what gives you raspberry and vanilla flavor. So, if any of you wants to go ahead and look that up, you can let me know if that's true. I have not looked it up yet because I like beavers and I like the taste of fake raspberry and fake vanilla. So I don't want to know if it comes from a beaver's butt. If it does, so be it, but whatever. Alright, so there's our egg and vanilla. And I'm going to work that in just a little bit with the fork before I do anything else. This fork's just a little bit easier to wipe off than my pastry knife is. Alright, so you can see like this is the liquidy part. It's getting kind of nice and slimed up. So if you're doing this with your mixer, your electric mixer, like you're supposed to be, but I don't have mine on me. I took it over to Rachel's already. What you can do is you can cream this all up with a fork and your other tools. Now the main thing is you just don't want it to be lumpy, and you want the liquid to be spread evenly. You want all your ingredients to be spread evenly, which is thus why you would use an electric mixer and just beat the snot out of it. But the thing is, without an electric mixer, you know, you gotta remember, like, people haven't always had appliances. People still cooked, even though they didn't have appliances. So they still had to find a way to figure out how to do this. So it makes a little bit more manpower. So you take a little bit more effort to do it. As you can see, this is getting a little bit hard to stir. It's kind of a workout a little bit here. Alright. So I did that with the fork just so I could get the easy part done here. There we go. And now. Alright. I would lick my hands, but since it's probably usually not a good idea with raw egg anymore. And I remember back in the Rocky days when we watched Rocky and we'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to drink a whole bunch of raw eggs. And we would put some raw eggs in a glass and drink them like Rocky. My friend Christopher used to do that every day. And you used to be able to go to the Orange Julius in the University Park Mall, and they would put a raw egg in your Orange Julius for you if you asked for it, so you could get a little bit of extra protein. But now with, you know, salmonella and all that crap, and people getting sick and sued and all that, I don't think you can get raw eggs anywhere anymore. And I personally wouldn't suggest eating them anymore, just because why take the risk? Being sick sucks. Alright, so here we go. We're going to mash this. This is creamed enough that it will accept the other dry ingredients right now. Alright, so now what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to transfer to a spoon. Because going to the spoon, and yeah, I'm going to go over on this one because baking takes a little bit longer. And because I've been running my soup cooler a little bit longer than normal, because I was waiting for the stupid dishwasher to get done. All right. Rinse this off. Wash your hands again 75 million times. All right, what we got now? 2 cups of flour, teaspoon of cinnamon, some baking soda. All right, so now we're getting to our dry ingredients, which I'm gonna mix those up in a separate bowl because in the long run it will be just a little bit easier if I do it that way. So I'm gonna take my 2 cups of Flizour. Where's my Flizour at? Flour. What do I do with you? Flour. Did I leave it on the table? I did. Aha. See, I was thinking ahead and put it over here. Didn't even realize it. All right, so put this over here in the sink. Got my Pyrex 100 years since 1915 cupper here for cooking, which is cool. You can do this with a spoon. I just happen to have this neat little scooper that I don't remember where it came from. It says Tupperware on it, so maybe it was like a free gift at a Tupperware party that I went to sometime. Because yes, I do go to Tupperware parties. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Alright. 2 cups of Flizour. Blah. There. Next will be the cinnamon and baking soda. Now notice I said baking soda, not baking powder. There's a difference. Baking soda, cinnamon, salt. And we should have 1.5, 1, and 1. 1.5, 1, and 1. Alright. So, 1.5 things of cinnamon. They make that thing screw off for a reason. So here's our 1.5. I don't like to pour cinnamon in my hand, which is why I'm not mixing my spices like normal. Normally I would just dump that in my hand. But again, that's like I said with baking, cookies aren't as drastic of a big deal, but you know, whatever. Alright, so here's a teaspoon of this. Pour this in here. Teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda. Teaspoon of that. Alright. Now put all this stuff back. I would say if you're cooking or baking, do not use the same baking soda that you use to defunk your refrigerator. Just saying. You don't know when the last time you changed that was. It's been sucking up all the nasty smells and fromage crap that's been coming out of your refrigerator, so I would suggest that being not a good thing. Just saying. Don't go there. Don't you do it. Alright. Alright, again, we got our handy dandy pasty blender for blending dry ingredients, which works very nice for. Alright, so we're just going to blend our salt or cinnamon and our baking soda into the Flizour. Get it nice and mixed. It doesn't really say to do this on the recipe, and again, like if you're using your electric mixer and you just dump in and you go for it, you go girl, you have fun and it'll work. And you will have great cookies, and I'm sure they'll be amazing. But like with most cooking with Cory things, I try to show you other ways to do stuff. Anybody even watching? Nope. Okay. No, that's cool. I talked to myself anyway. Had a conversation about that. Not with myself, with somebody else today. About my talking to myself. It's probably why making these videos is so easy for me, because I'm used to talking to myself all day anyway. Alright, so we're going to put all this nice yummy goodness in there like that. 2 cups of flour. And the last thing will be the 3 cups of oats, but I'm looking at my bowl and I'm starting to see there may be a problem with that. Alright. Not a spatula, but this is a good thing because see how it's got round edges? Rounded. This actually came with my wok, but it also works really well for if you need to stir stuff in a round bowl and you need to cut it in, because it has this neat little cutting edge so you can cut it. See how I'm cutting? Cut it. And you cut across it and you kind of mix the flour down into the wet sliminess of the egg and the other wetness down there, the butter. Okay, so you don't want to get a little aggressive with this and start going crazy right away, because what happens is you start flopping the flour all out all over the place, and then you got flour mess everywhere, and I don't like to have a super huge cleanup when I'm done. I try to clean as I go, so I don't want that happening. I'm just gonna kind of chill here, and then you can see it's kind of getting a little more workable, kind of getting more cookie-ish, because if you're measuring the ingredients properly, it's not gonna be too dry and it's not gonna be too wet. It should work out just right where you can make happy little cookie balls. All right. Now you could actually stop here and you could bake what's in this without the throwing the oats in, and it would make snickerdoodles. Just need more cinnamon, or a type of snickerdoodle, really, because snickerdoodles have a lot more cinnamon and they're a little more white. Or you could take this same cookie batch and throw like a chunk, what is it, 2.5 tablespoons of ginger. You put some ginger in there and use molasses, and then you can make ginger snaps. So that's really good too, especially if you like ginger and ginger snaps, which I do. And the difference between a ginger snap and a gingerbread, like when you make gingerbread, you want it to rise. So you use baking soda and baking powder to leaven it. Actually, I think you use cream of tartar, which baking powder really is just cream of tartar and baking soda mixed together. That's what you can use. I think in one of my earlier videos I showed you guys that, like, if you don't have baking powder, you can make your own real quick in the kitchen. It's a 3-to-1 mix, I believe, or 2. Is it 2-to-1, 3-to-1? I don't know. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look at the video. Watch the video, or just Google it, because that's what the internet's for. It amazes me how ignorant people just repost stuff to their Facebook page and their Twitter page and their outrage page, and they're so outraged at everything, and they don't actually do any, not even one iota of fact checking when everything is on the internet. You can take the extra 30 seconds it is before you get your emotional outrage on, talking to you liberals, and settle yourself down and actually fact check stuff for a second, and then realize that whoever posted that was trying to get an emotional response out of you. Oh, I do it too, Dave. Yeah, don't be pointing fingers at me, Dave. I know that once in a while, sometimes my button will get pushed, and I'll post some stuff that I shouldn't, because I don't fact check it. You caught me once. One time, Dave. Once. Alright, now we need our 3 cups of oats. You can see, like before, it was concerning because that didn't look like it was going to hold 3 cups of oats, did it? No. Again, with our clear bowl, you can see if there's any like dusty spots that I didn't quite get mixed well enough. It's not enough for me to be concerned about, because I'm going to put the oats in there and mix it again anyway. So, not too concerned. Don't care. Not even caring. And hopefully Rachel's not going to be butthurt because I ignored her call because I was making a video. And alrighty. 2 cups of oats. Some on the table. It's all right. Table gets their cut. Alright. There's 3 cups of oats right there. Bamsis. Okay. Yeah. Oatmeal cookies are so yummy. Alright, and so that's our 3 cups. We need to knead that in. And remember I told you I had some raisins left over. So some people don't like raisins in their cookies. Some people do. Since I'm probably the only one that's going to be eating these cookies because I'm the only one here, I'm going to say that I, personally, Cory, like to have the raisins in my cookies. So I will put them in there. What did I do with my nuts? Man, I lost my nuts. Oh, there's my nuts. Okay. Alright, here's my nuts right here. Alright, so because there's only a tiny little bit of pecan halves left from when I made the pecan pie, I don't remember when that was. I'm just going to mash them babies up and put them right in there too. Where's my masher? So we get our masher out. The best way to get nuts small, besides cold water, is to mash them up with a roll pin. Now obviously this bag was opened beforehand, and I didn't just start rolling on a closed, sealed bag of nuts, because if you do that, bad things will happen. Bad things will happen. It will explode out all over the place, and you'll be like, oh man, I got nut everywhere. So shake those nuts down in there. Not gonna worry about the little bit of nut dust stuck on the edge of the thingy there. And I'm gonna take what's left of my sun-made raisins here and drop them right in there. Blah. Bam! Alright. So I'm gonna mix all this down. I'm gonna get little Cooey in how long? I'm supposed to be 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna take these suckers, I'm gonna put them on a ungreased cookie sheet. The reason I'm not greasing it is because what did I put in here? There's like a whole cup of butter in there. They don't need grease. Now, if you're worried, you can take baking parchment. You can put a baking parchment down, and then if they stick, they'll stick to the baking parchment. You just peel it off. But these shouldn't stick if you're using like a regular dark pan, or even if you're using like one of those layered non-stick pans. I also happen to have a stone stuff. Help me out here. What's the stone stuff called? Pampered Chef. I have one of those too. That makes really good cookies, and that's probably what I'm going to go get if I haven't already moved it. Alright. Anyway, cooking with Cory. Peace, guys.